Modulo Chapter 23 is officially here. A lot of fans were confused after the leak, so I'm going to try to help with that. As always, if you don't want spoilers, back out now. We actually got this amazing color page behind me for Chapter 23, and it is stunning. Essentially, Chapter 23 picks up where 22 left off, where Yuji's like, cursed spirits might still be born. And Maru's kind of confused, like, huh? Yuji tells Maru it's nearly impossible to completely rid cursed energy from somebody. And then he's like, let's talk about people who are said to quote-unquote have no cursed energy. He says cursed energy is unique to Japanese people or people who are descendants of Japanese people, aside from a few rare exceptions, saying people overseas do emit cursed energy but very weak amounts. Maru's listening intently. Yuji tells him cursed spirits are still born outside of Japan, however not very often, and very rarely do like strong ones pop up. Maru asks, how can they be strong if the cursed energy is so faint? Yuji tells him that since the cursed energy is so weak, there are only a few places it could actually gather without it fading away. Yuji tells him it's been 70 years since the rest of the world found out about cursed energy, and since they found out, their cursed energy has been flowing into Tokyo. Maru's starting to understand what Yuji's talking about, and he's like, even if we got rid of all of the cursed energy in Japanese people, cursed spirits would still be born overseas and here in Tokyo since the cursed energy flows to Tokyo. Yuji theorizes since they're in the space between life and death, all of the souls on Earth do pass through here, and Yuji says the only way to get rid of it is to get rid of the cursed energy of everybody on this Earth, but we can't do that, right? He says even if we change the composition of people's souls to eliminate cursed energy, it would still emit in very, very faint amounts like people overseas, right? Maru says you're probably right, and my curse technique is being used to bring harmony between the Japanese and the Sumerians so it cannot harm people. Yuji says if cursed energy isn't there to keep our bodies running properly, there's a chance it could cause harm. Adding in, aside from people like Maki who have heavenly restrictions, Yuji says you just can't get rid of cursed energy, that's our fate as human beings. Yuji asks him, what's the difference between cursed spirits and Kalyans? Yuji adds on, cursed spirits are evil, especially since they're born from cursed energy. But something that resembles cursed spirits doesn't necessarily mean it's evil. Yuji brings up Tengen and is like, Tengen was over 500 years old and resembled more of a cursed spirit than a human, but they weren't a bad person at all. Then he brings up Choso and he's like, my big brother was half cursed spirit. But what is the reason why Kalyans attack everybody except for the Romillion people? It finally clicks for Maru. He's like, it's because our souls are the same colors. Among the many different colors of souls, only the Romillions, Kalyans, and cursed spirits share the same color. Maru tells Yuji, I can't overwrite the color of the souls, but there are other ways. He says, but if we remake this place where all of the souls on Earth pass through into a device that can split and reshape souls, could scatter the color of the souls and adjust their forms, and in the process wipe out as much cursed energy as possible. Then it pans over to Dabura and somebody's telling him, go ahead and take it, and they're handing him this black rope. Then on the next panel we see Dabura's face and we hear, I'm sorry Dabura. Maru is now talking to Dabura and he's like, I interrupted your duel again. Maru adds on, the first time I just didn't understand anything, but still, I know this is so rude of me. Dabura says, you want me to go back to Samaria alone? It's the only way to save her, right? Dabura says, I came to Earth to honor a promise I made to Dura. It's alright now, isn't it Maru? Maru responds yes, and Dabura says, good. My role here is finished then. Maru asks, did something change about you, Dabura? And Dabura just goes, no, I just finally caught up to warriors like you. Someone begins to approach Dabura, and Dabura says, brother, let's go back home, Spejo. He says, thanks to the power of Earth's black rope, the curse put on you by the chieftain of the Diskunte has been broken. There's nothing else binding you both. Dabura then begins walking away, and Maru says, Dabura, I'm sure we'll see each other again sometime. Maru says, I understand it now, my curse technique. We then see him put his hand out like this, and a bunch of energy orbs come out of it, and it goes to Tsurugi, Cross, Yuka, and I believe Usami. It then goes back to Maru and Yuji, and Maru just says, thank you so much, Yuji Itadori, and once again, I'm so sorry. Yuji says there's still one big job left to do, and Maru's like, I need to do this part by myself. Yuji says, got it, then we'll both do our own things, and they both tell each other, you've got it from here. We then see Maru, who's now teleported and is floating above Tokyo, and he has Yuji's words in his mind saying, this is a huge sin. Maru says, cursed spirits of Earth, I'm sorry, but at the very least, you get to rest in peace. There's a big text from the narrator that says, I wasn't prepared to take on the burden of such a sin. Then we see somebody reach out and grab Maru's hand. He's shocked and he looks over, and it's Cross who's reached out to grab his hand. Cross says, let's do it, together. Then a couple more hands reach out. It's Yuka and Tsurugi, and Yuka says, don't worry, we're all here with you. Now there's a little bit of a conspiracy theory going around with this because people are assuming that Yuka and Tsurugi are both dead and there's a chance Cross is as well. And it all started from the leaks because Yuka's picture, she's just standing there smiling big like this. But a lot of people, I guess, didn't realize that she was the one saying, "Don't worry, we're all here with you." There is one little shocking detail that might confirm that there is a chance Tsurugi could be dead, because he still is all roughed up, like he has scratches all over his face and he's beat down pretty bad. And even Maru's kind of like looking at him like this in the panel, like what's going on? So there is a chance that they could be just spirits at this point. But Maru begins to cry and he just says, "Thank you." He sniffles and he says, "By offering prayers to pacify all spirits, I now conclude the ritual of harmony." As he says this, you see all of these, like, it looks like spirits to be flying upwards, and that is where our chapter ends. Now, a lot of people were talking bad about this chapter after the leaks came out, mainly because they just did not understand it. Personally, I think it was a great chapter. We got a lot of depth to the characters, a lot of emotion, and we're kind of getting to that conclusion phase. Now here's the big thing, no Dabura did not die, no Mahoraga did not die. Maru told them, "I interrupted the ritual." So by using his technique, Maru pulled Dabura out of the ritual so nobody won. Because if somebody did quote unquote win, Yuka would have died because she was in the suspended state of death. Now could Yuka still be dead? There's a chance, but I do not think it's going to be her who is dead here. Now there is a chance, since nobody actually won, but the ritual was just interrupted, that Mahoraga is still out there where like Dabura and him were fighting. And we're going to see Itadori Yuji go take down Mahoraga, which I would love to see, but I do have another little theory that goes along with this because everybody's asking, where has Megami been? Maybe Megami is going to be there with Yuji to take out this Mahoraga, or maybe we're going to get some information about his whereabouts. Maybe he did fully pass on. Not fully, maybe he did just pass on. But for the love of all things good, like the people who are saying that this is bad writing, like you would not understand bad writing if it came up and just like whacked you across the face a couple times. You can't call something bad writing just because it didn't happen how you planned it to happen, how you wanted it to happen. Like obviously I'm not talking to the whole fandom, I'm talking about the people who were just blatantly out here spewing misinformation, being like it's bad writing because this happened, when in reality what they're saying happened did not happen. But with all that being said, that is the end of the chapter. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Peace.